It's raining. It's like the first time in maybe 40 days that we are having rain. I'm a fluviophile. A fluviophile is somebody who loves rain and who comes alive when it's raining. To tell you the truth, I am really coming alive. I just hope it keeps going. I hope we have a proper rain that washes away all the dust. I wish I could smell it. It's the best smell. Good morning. Welcome back. Over here we talk about sewing, knitting and everything else that is fun. Sometimes life is not always fun, but we talk about that. So this week I haven't got around to a lot of sewing. Actually, I got around to no sewing. It's just been one of those hectic weeks with a lot happening. But I did do some knitting, and then I also found out there's this challenge by One Lisa show for the end of October, and it's Finish the Whip 2024. I've got 2 whips that I literally have been traveling in my suitcase with me for the last 2 years, and I haven't finished them. The one is a skirt. I'm not going to take that out because I don't plan on finishing it now. But the other is this beautiful curtain that I found in South Africa still years ago, and I am busy making this coat. That one over there, and I'm making it with a hood. Their one didn't come out of a hood, so I cut it on to turn it into a hood. And I really want this in my wardrobe, but I haven't done anything to it because I forgot about it, and I think I got stuck because the pattern don't have a lining, and I cut a lining, and I just need to figure out how to put it all together. But the lining is sewed, the jacket is almost done, and I just needed to put it all together to have a beautiful jacket that will work for autumn. So I'm going to do Finish the Whip 2024, but I'm also doing a collaboration with Lara, and I'm sorry Lara, I forgot your channel's name, but I'll put it up here. And she's just awesome, and we're doing outerwear. So I was going to make a coat out of a beautiful piece of boiled wool that I have. But I have a contentious relationship with coats because I find them bulky, and I find that I don't gravitate to them. And especially here in the US, it's okay for autumn, but in winter I find them not warm enough. So I think I'm going to hold on to that beautiful piece of boiled wool until I'm sure what I want to make out of it, because I really don't want to spoil it. I actually made my sister a coat out of that, and I'll link the video below, and she just loved it, and she looks so stunning in it. But that's not really my type of style for coats, so I won't be making one like that. Then let's talk about the knitting that I have done. This is my shawl, and I've been saying I want to actually finish it, and I did that much from there to there. I know it's not a lot of rows, but it actually is a lot of knitting because of all the amount of stitches. I'm almost at 300, and I'm just knitting along. I've actually been walk knitting. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you take your knitting, especially if it's light enough, you can do it. And you just walk, and if it's not too intricate, you can just walk a knit. So I've been doing my walks with my knitting, and I'm actually loving it, and getting a lot of knitting done in the process. And then I've also been knitting on this one. I know I said in my last video, this one should wait for last, but I don't know about you. I need to knit on what I feel like. If I don't feel like knitting on something, I'm going to make a mess. And for that reason, I've learned through life, you do not do that. You knit on what you want to. And then, if you really have to, you make sure you are rested and ready, and you sit down and you finish the unfinished projects. But otherwise, knitting must be fun, in my opinion. I know some people just knit because they want the stuff in their wardrobes, which I also do. But I also want to enjoy the process. So this week's life. There's been a little bit of adventures with my adventure buddy, which was a lot of fun. And we actually went to play in the leaves, and we had a ball as always. I'm also working on a project at the moment, and it kind of involves this, but I'll speak more about it when I have it more finalized. Life has been busy, but that's the thing. As somebody who sews and knits and everything, I used to have that as my full-time job, and now it's not. So I need to get used to the whole thing of sometimes as a full-time job, you just have to sit and you have to shoulder through and on. But I'm now in a position when I can work on it when I feel like it. And sometimes I don't work on it because there's no pressure. So I really struggle to find that balance. I've also been really enjoying autumn and going for cycles as far as possible for as long as possible and enjoying the weather. So for that reason, I've held out on sewing. But this week that's coming, I need to start working on my friend's stuff because that has been lingering far too long. And when I have things lingering, it actually does not do much for my mental health. I also need to finish the rest of my autumn wardrobe. And then I will see what I will do next. In my last adventure, I went shopping. Now, I try not to shop too much because I will have to pack everything in my suitcases when I move on again. So I only got a few pieces of quilting cotton in this beautiful quilt shop. I got a yard of this. I just love it. It is just one of my favorites. I sometimes buy fabrics or yarn for memorabilia. I don't want things, but I do love fabrics and I do love yarn. So this is going to become a knitting bag. And then I found this. Now, oh my goodness, I think this is the most beautiful fabric ever. If I had my way, I would have a dress in this. It is called Daffodils and Dragonflies by Kansas Trouble Quilters. Mokla, modafabrics.com. It's 100% cotton. I think it is the most beautiful fabric ever. But as I said, it was a bit pricey, so I only got half a yard. And I will make another, like a sock knitting bag or something like that out of this. And then I found this one, which is also just so beautiful. And of course, I would love a dress in this as well. But this is also going to be either the lining for the previous piece, or I will make a bag on its own. I will have to decide. But I'm very happy with my purchases, and I'm proud of myself for holding back and not getting more. Sticking to my budget. I've really been working on that. I don't know about you, but I sometimes find I'm very good at budgeting and I'm very good at sticking to it. But then something happens, or I just feel fed up with life and everything else. And then I just spend and buy stuff that I do need, but I didn't need at that point. So for the last basically 6 months, I've really been very diligent in how I spend my money. And saving and investing and doing all those things, because that's what you do as a responsible adult. My question today is, do you do impulse buys? If you do impulse buys, what do you buy? And do you feel guilty afterwards? Me, I try not to do impulse buys, but I do have a list of things that I'm looking for. And if I come across it in my travels or whatever, and I can afford it, then I do get it. I also try not to buy things that I know I'm not going to use in the next year. Unless it's like a situation I know I'm never going to be able to find it again, then I will buy it. I also, with yarn, because I got to a point where I started buying yarn for future projects, but I haven't finished the current project. So I've put a limit on myself. There's actually a few things I want to knit in the future and I need yarn for it. But I'm not going to buy that yarn until I finish all the things that I've showed you recently. They have to be done, and only then am I allowed to buy the yarn for the next project. So I've been putting those little things in place for me to actually keep myself intact, because I know my weaknesses. Weaknesses is fabric and yarn, and yeah, I can't keep buying yarn because then I'm going to pay a lot for extra luggage when I move on again. So that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time here. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And it really helps me if you press that like button and leave a comment. And I really want to hear your opinions about everything. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.